وبارك على محمد وعلى محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إني أسألك بأني أشهد أنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذريتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
To yet and once again witness another day in the series of our days of event marking the 2022 Nigerian Bar Association Gusau branch Law Week. May God Almighty see us through. My Lord, Chief Judge of the State, Justice Kulu Aliu OFR, my Lord, Justice Bello Shinkafi, my Lord, you are highly welcome. We have in our midst also today, gracing this occasion, Justice Bello Tukur, my Lord, you are highly welcome. Also Justice Bello Kucheri, who presented a very marvelous paper yesterday at one of our programs. My Lord, you are highly welcome. Justice Habib Mikaelu is also here with us. My Lord, you are highly welcome. We also have the controller of the Nigerian Immigration Service, in person of Ibrahim Balarabe. He has answered our call. You are most welcome, sir. We have also Thomas Abang, Assistant Commander, who is representing the Commandant of Federal Reserve Corps. You are most welcome, sir. We have Barrister Jafar Muhammad, representing Commissioner of Police. He's wearing two caps today, a lawyer and a police at the same time. So you are most welcome, sir. My Lord, with your permission, I also want to recognize the presence of the Chief Registrar of the High Court of Justice, Barrister Suraju Aliu. You are most welcome, sir. Our learned magistrate, the Chief Magistrate here present, the directors of the High Court of Justice, and most especially the presenter of today's paper, Mr. P.M. Lasko. You are most welcome, sirs. Today's event is paper presentation, as I believe you must have seen in the invitation. And the presenter, like I rightly said, is Barrister P.M. Lasko. At a crucial time in the history, like today, politics has taken large of our life endeavors, which therefore necessitates a program like this at which discussion about politics will be open, because whether we like it or not, we are all stakeholders as contestants or as voters, or in whatever capacity you think you are. Discussion about politics become an often thing, and especially that MBA being an organ that always wants to checkmate the activities of those in position. We want to have a clear understanding of how the roles of those in government are supposed to be played, and whether there are advice to be given so that things will go well in the administration of justice first and in governance generally. My Lord, let me quickly go to the second item, the third item on the agenda, which is welcome address by the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, in person of Barrister Junaidu Abakar. You are most welcome, sir.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Zamfara State, Honorable Justice Kulu Aliu OFR, my Lords, other judges of the Zamfara State High Court of Justice here present, the controller of the Nigerian Immigration Service here with us, the representative of the Zamfara State Controller, Federal Road Safety Co., the representative of the Commissioner of Police, the presenter of today's paper, our senior colleague in person of PM Lasco Esquire, the Chief Registrar of the Zamfara State High Court of Justice, the Chief Magistrate, Zamfara and other magistrates here with us, senior members of the bar, my colleagues, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I begin with expressing our gratitude to Almighty Allah for sparing our lives and giving us the opportunity to be here. May the blessings of Allah be open to the most noble of mankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, and those who follow his path until the last day. Here we are today at this hour for a public lecture presentation titled The Cordial Relationship Between the Legislature, Executives, and the Judiciary Arms of Government. The Nigerian Bar Association Gusau branch, in its effort to make its own contribution for the good governance of Zamfara State, we deem it necessary upon ourselves to make this paper, and we have carefully gone through our members, and eventually we selected Mr. PM Lasco to deliver this paper. Mr. PM Lasco is a very experienced legal practitioner here in Gusau, and he has a wide range of knowledge and experiences in both litigations and otherwise. My Lord, these three arms of government, as we know, are provided for under the Nigerian Constitution. It is otherwise known as a doctrine of separation of powers. The principle of separation of powers under the Constitution is made to guarantee good governance and development and to prevent abuse of power. Political liberty is to be found when there is no abuse of power, but constant experience shows everyone invested with power is liable to abuse and carry his authority as far as it will go. As highlighted above, therefore, the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria envisages and does specifically provide for three arms of government. That is the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. The Constitution is founded upon the well-cherished principle of separation of powers, and by virtue of that principle, neither the executive nor the judiciary can interfere with or take away from the legislature's functions that are strictly and exclusively assigned thereto by the Constitution. In the same vein, the legislature has no power to usurp the function that are exclusively and strictly provided and assigned thereto by the Constitution. The three arms of government are, by the provision of the Constitution, under an onerous duty to work with one another in a harmonious and congenial atmosphere for the purpose of promoting good government and welfare of the persons in our country on the principle of freedom, equity, and justice, and for the purpose of consolidating the unity of our people. My Lord, it is in our Constitution that the doctrine of separation of powers in the 1999 Constitution providers for the three branches of government, as I have said earlier and enumerated them. To each of these three arms of government, the Constitution has assigned distinct and well-defined roles, duties, and responsibilities to the legislature, both at the national and the state level. The responsibility to enact laws for the peace, order, prosperity, and the good government of the people. So, gentlemen, I employ every one of us to listen to the paper to be presented, and I wish us a successful deliberation. Thank you so much.
Presented is the cordial relationship between the legislature, executive, and judiciary arms of government. It is to be presented by Mr. P.M. Lasko. I have known Mr. Lasko for over 30 years, and I'm sure I will not be disappointed. I don't want to preempt, I've read the paper, in fact, perfunctorily, of course, but I don't want to preempt what Mr. Lasko will say. But I'm sure he will not disappoint the Honorable Chief Judge or us or anybody that is opportune to be here. So without much ado, I'd like to call on Ms. Lasko to come and present his paper.
To stand on the existing and established protocol by the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association. Incidentally, it was just on Sunday that the chairman and the leadership of NBA asked me to deliver this paper. I'll be apologetic to every error and application of the position of the law in the paper, because I didn't have enough time to do a proper research. But I am sure that we'll be able to have one or two things to take home. So thank you very much. Be that as it may, first of all, may I most respectfully express my profound appreciation to the Nigerian Bar Association, Gusau branch, under the purposeful leadership of Barrister Junedu Abubakar, for organizing this Law Week, the first of its kind in this branch, and I feel bountifully delighted and highly honored to be asked to deliver this paper amongst the gathering of great learned minds. I am most particularly nostalgic because I have passed through this same path and I didn't perform half of what this leadership is doing. I'm very nostalgic. 2006 to 2008, I held this position, but it never occurred to me that I should bring this on board. Thank you, sir. Without much ado, let us delve into the theme of discussion titled Cordial Relationship between the Legislature, the Executive, and the Judicial Arms of Government. This is not just a provocative and well thought out topic, but also very relevant in the light of the recent happenings in the country and Zamfara State in particular. I dare say that a democratic system such as ours cannot strive and prosper without a robust and enduring harmonious relationship between the three arms of government. My lords and distinguished colleagues, the primary purpose of any government is to regulate social relations within its territorial jurisdiction. Otherwise, government would degenerate into despotism, victimization, dictatorship, oppression, and anarchy. It is imperative to state that one of the salient premises on which the system of government under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, is the age-long doctrine of separation of powers and the principle of checks and balances amongst the three arms of government. The three arms of government being the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary, are not entirely independent of each other. They have overlapping functions, and none exists or function without the other, but work hand in hand to achieve the programs and policies of government, as well as secure the welfare of the citizens. Rifts and conflicts are therefore inevitable among the three arms. Checks and balances are designed to maintain the system of separation of powers, keeping each arm of government in its place. This is based on the idea that it is not enough to separate, but also to give the various arms of government the constitutional means to defend their legitimate powers from encroachment of other arms. A renowned writer, Ikenga Orogbomunu, 2005, certainly stated as thus, I quote, "There is no gainsaying the fact that a government of separated power is less likely to be tyrannical and more likely to follow the rule of law. A separation of power can also make a political system more democratic. The division of power also prevents one branch of government from dominating the others or dictating the laws to the public." My lords, distinguished colleagues, under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, a tripartite division of powers has been clearly provided, with each arm having its roles and responsibilities constitutionally delineated. I have made a reproduction of the relevant sections of the Constitution that relate to these three arms of government. Section 4, I will not need to read out those sections. The papers are with us. Section 4, which has subsections 1 to 9, dealing with the legislature. Section 5, that has subsection 1 to subsection 5, dealing with the executive, and section 6, dealing with the judicial arms of government. It has subsection 1 to subsection 6. Now, I have tried to make a synopsis of the above provisions, which I will go through them for the sake of emphasis. Functions of the legislature: lawmaking, deliberative functions, deliberate upon matters of national importance, public issues, and problems and needs. Custodian of national finances. It is the responsibility of the legislature to approve all financial transactions involving the governments of both the federal and the state. It also controls the executive in a way. In appointments, it appoints committees to investigate the functioning of the government departments, constituents functions, power to amend the constitution, oversight functions, supervising the other arms of government to secure implementation of government policies and programs in the annual appropriation act or law. Judicial functions, here, please, let us get it right. I have shown earlier on that they have an overlapping functions. The legislature at times plays some judicial functions. The investigation of public officials, and passing resolutions for the removal of judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court on grounds of misbehavior and incapacity. Ventilation of grievances against the executive. The public can make petitions to the National House of Assembly, the states of assemblies, against public officers or whatever, and the legislature has a responsibility to ventilate those grievances. And miscellaneous functions, confirmation of major appointments by the executive. Ministers, commissioners must be approved by the legislature. Functions of the executive: enforcing the law, in charge of appointments, signing deals, and forming alliances with international communities, ensure security of citizens and maintaining order, preparing budgets and other financial obligations, policy making, very important, some semi-judicial functions, appointment of judges, the executive is fully involved, grant of pardon and amnesty to convicted criminals, the function of the judicial executives, and grant of titles and honors. Now, see, the functions of the judiciary: give justice to the people, interpretation and application of laws, role in lawmaking. Yes, the judiciary make laws in judicial decisions because judicial decisions constitute source of law. They set best for the society. Protection of rights. Equity legislation. Where a law is silent or ambiguous, principle of justice, fairness, and impartiality come into play, where judges come in and make some pronouncements that eventually become law. They are the guardians of the Constitution. Enforcement of decisions and judgments. Special role. A very special role, if there is a dispute between the two arms of government, the other two arms of government, the judiciary will serve as an arbiter to resolve those disputes. Running of judicial administration, advisory functions. The President of Nigeria, for instance, can refer any issue of law or fact which is of public importance to the Supreme Court to make a pronouncement. To conduct judicial inquiries, the executive often appoints judicial inquiries from the judiciary to perform those functions. Miscellaneous functions, appointments of trustees, guardians, and so forth. Arising from the constitutional provisions, there is a clear separation of powers amongst the three arms of government, sustained on the principle of checks and balances, such that each of the three arms can act as a watchdog over the other. The essence is that neither the legislature nor the executive or the judiciary should dominate one another and should function in cooperation with each other. In the case of Aloysius Ude against Joseph Ojeseme and another, reported in 1995, 8 Nigeria Wikil Law Report, Part 412, page 155, the Supreme Court pronounced on the doctrine of separation of powers when it considered the constitutionality of the action of the government of Anambra State setting up a peace committee under Section 215 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic, and held as follows. I quote, "The executive, legislature, and judiciary are each established as a separate organ of government by the Constitution of Nigeria, 1979. The powers of each organ are expressly stated, and an organ cannot usurp the functions of the other. The object of the Constitution in establishing 3 arms of government is to avoid the concentration of power in one hand, and that each should be independent of the other so that the action of one should not be controlled by the other. However, Section 4, subsection 8 of the Constitution makes legislative answerable in the courts and tribunals established by law for any allegation of breaches of the Constitution in the exercise of their legislative powers. This legislature, thus legislature and the executive have no power over the judiciary. There is no doubt that the military government, which now exercises both legislative and executive powers, can enact laws depriving the courts of jurisdiction, which have been given them, but it cannot assume the power of power to adjudicate. Necessary in the functions of these other 2 arms of government. Most recently, in practical demonstration of the overlapping functions of the 3 arms of government, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, issued Presidential Executive Order number 10 of 2020 to implement the financial autonomy for state legislatures and the judiciary, AG, Abia State and others, against AG of the Federation. The case is reported in the year 2022, LPELR 57010, Supreme Court. Though, by a majority decision of 4-3, the Supreme Court held the said executive order to be unconstitutional. A remarkable and profound pronouncement was made by Abba Aji, JSC, while dissenting inter alia as follows. Although the President and the executive cannot assume legislative role and functions to make laws for the Federation, a presidential executive order is made subject to the Constitution and for the execution and maintenance of this Constitution, and not to subvert the Constitution or derogate from its provisions. The Constitution remains supreme, and any law or order contrary to it shall stand unconstitutional and void to the extent of its inconsistency. In Zamfara State, His Excellency Right Honorable Bello Mohammed, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, has in exercise of his constitutional powers issued some series of executive orders for the purpose of good governance during the period of COVID-19 pandemic and insecurity. My lords and distinguished colleagues, it is apparent that in practical terms, for the sustenance of harmonious and cordial relationship between the 3 arms of government, it entails the following. 1, there must be no interference with the affairs of one arm by the other. Very, very important. 2, no arm should discharge more than one function. And 3, no arm should exercise the functions of another. Therefore, The three arms of government must operate differently and distinctively. No member of one arm is allowed to be a member of the other. In other words, in order to guard against tyranny, despotism, territorialism, and in government, each of the three arms must operate within its constitutional allotted spheres of responsibilities. In the final analysis, it will be more viable and beneficial for the three arms to collaborate constructively to engineer the policy-making and implementation process with a view to promoting egalitarian society. Will be greatly slowed down as a result of unending conflicts and rifts between the three arms, who are often entangled in constant battle for supremacy. It is normal with human beings, and this has also played out in our democracy. The three arms usually are entangled in constant battle for supremacy. However, the panacea is that there must be collaborative, there must be a constructive collaboration between the three for delivery of the government policies. A famous English scholar, Sir John Dalbert Acton, 1834 to 1907, postulated that the power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely in such manner that great men are almost always seen as bad men. The three arms should deem it necessary to always adopt dialogue and resolving their differences instead of resorting to outright confrontation that usually deadlocks the policy-making and implementation process. They should embark on regular capacity building on basic conflict resolution and management training with a view to improving their conflict management skills as well as their problem-solving skills. I thank you all for your attention. God bless Zamfara State. God bless the Nigerian Bar Association, Gusau branch. Thank you.
To the point, very educating and very everything. I commend Mr. Lesko for this eloquent presentation.
President, Chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, paper presenter, and Controller of Immigration, represented contributions if they have any. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to understand how they operate so that Nigeria will be a peaceful place. Thank you, my lords.
Secretary, MBA Sokoto branch, and I'm here to represent my branch. Like all the judges have said that they don't want to make comments regarding the paper. This brought about the beauty of legal profession and particularly private practice. We have freedom, we have our voice, and we can say whatever we want to say as long as it is genuine and objective. Well, I must confess that the presenter has done justice to this paper, and while I was going through the paper, I was overwhelmed, and I was glad to be part of this program today.
Mr. Lesko, who made his own today, you'll agree with me, he has helped in breaking down all the tentacles of separation of power and watered it down for us to drink. And that's what we are supposed to be doing. That is to put it open and discuss it very diligently without necessarily saying things that are not supposed to be said. Even though I said private lawyers, like Rashida said, are supposed to say a lot because they always say a lot. I urge you to, if any of you has any comment to make, questions or comments, please come forward and make the comment. Thank you.
The lesson is recited in the rules of courts. that normally my lords make such rules for the good governance of the courts. The Grand Decade also has its own capacity, the power to make rules for the Sheriff Court, and so many other things. But however, we should remember that the main law that established those courts was passed or were passed by at various assemblies, maybe the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly. In that law, they usually provide for a power for those head of such institutions to carry out what is called delegated legislation. They were given their own power, delegating their own power to various heads of institutions, thereby making additional laws that will now make such an institution to perform effectively. Take for examples about the state high courts or the sheriff court. The Grand Decade has the power to make rules, but the law established the sheriff courts. It was that law that now says the Grand Decade has the power to make rules for the good governance of the sheriff courts. So that's what is called delegated legislation. It is the main legislation that now give the power to the executive that are in charge of that particular law to now make additional laws that will now benefit the entire system so that it will perform function effectively. Let's take another example, like for example, where we have an institution, academic institution. We have Zakas, we have scholars, and so many other institutions. The law only establishes the school, but it will delegate the power for the executive or the head of the institution. So now make other laws that will now allow the institution to perform effectively, like creating departments in respective schools under the main law, and thereby making rules and regulations for the conduct of examination, and so many other things. So I don't know what I want to ask, whether such delegated legislation can also be considered like maybe the power the executive are also using to make executive order. That's the only difference I want to know. Thank you.
There are laws. That is why there are subsidiary laws. That's what I said. They have overlapping functions. Then those, as long as they are not delegated from the position of the law, the main law. Yes. So there are laws. It's allowed by the law establishing them, and the executive can do such. Even as the judiciary also enact laws, rules that are ultimately are laws to us. So it is allowed. It is overlapping functions in the arms of government. It's allowed even by the Constitution. The three arms of government will need to look at themselves as stakeholders. They are partners in progress.
I, for one, have learned from what I heard from Mr. Gusau and the other persons. I think another program will be coming on tomorrow. Another one. Okay, dinner. Please, I hope we all endeavor to attend. And I wish all of us
Thank you very much. Maybe to add to that,
my name is Barrister Junaidu Abubakar. I am the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association Gusau branch. We are here at a public lecture organized by the Nigerian Bar Association Gusau branch. It's one of the events marking the law week of the branch for this year 2022.
Honorable Justice Kulu Aliu OFR, my lords present here. I was sent a copy, soft copy yesterday of the citation of my lord, Honorable Justice Lawal Garba of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Let us pay rapt attention. Honorable Justice Mohammed Lawal Garba, JSC, was born in 1959 in Maru local government of Zamfara State. He received his primary education at Maru Demonstration Primary School from 1965 to 1971. He attended Government Secondary School, Gusau, from 1972 to 1976. He went to School of Basic Studies, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, between 1976 to 1977. He attended Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, from 1977 to 1980, where he obtained the Bachelor's of Law degree and was called to the Nigerian Bar in the year 1981. He started his working career in 1980 as an inspector of area courts, and in 1982 he was appointed as a magistrate, grade 2, in the then former Sokoto State Judicial Service Commission. He rose through the ranks and became the Deputy Chief Registrar of High Court, of Sokoto State from 1988 to 1991. He also held the position of the Solicitor General and Director General Minister of Justice, Sokoto State. In 1993, Honorable Justice Mohammed Lawal Garba was elevated to the bench as a High Court judge, and in 1997, he was appointed as the Chief Judge of Zamfara State, the position he held up to 2004, when he was elevated to the Court of Appeal as Justice of the Court of Appeal. He served at different divisions of the Court of Appeal until his appointment as the Justice of the Supreme Court on 6/11/2020. I had the opportunity in 1993, there was a judicial panel set up by Sokoto State to investigate the activities of the Hajj panel. I had the privilege to work under him closely. In fact, the first money I got to buy the pressing stone and TV, this box TV, I got it from that exercise. He was the chairman of that judicial commission that investigated
the activities of the judicial, Hajj panel, Hajj operations for the entire local governments in the dense Sokoto state. His Lordship is a principled and disciplined gentleman. Quite knowledgeable, and he's a teacher. He will lead you through the rudiments of the law. We are all grounded through his rich and enviable knowledge. With good perception of law, and above all, he is a very honest and hardworking judicial officer. May the Lord bless him over and over again.
We are presenting the award to the awardees, please. Justice Muhammad Lawal Garba, which will be received on his behalf by Chief Judge of the State, Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu. Will you please come to the high table? The next awardee is the Chief Judge of the State, Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu OFR. I crave the indulgence of my chairman to invite Barrister Sha'awana to Muhammad Ahmad to read the citation of the Chief Judge. Sha'awana to Muhammad, please come forward. By Barrister Sha'awana, you may please continue.
Yes. This is a citation of honor to Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu in recognition and appreciation of her immense contribution, dedication, and distinguished service to the people of Zamfara State and the whole of Nigeria. Augmenting her participation as a distinguished leader, knowledgeable and motherly, always guiding to the community. Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu, who is the Chief Judge of Zamfara State and also a life bencher, was a member of various election tribunals. She was a member of various election tribunals, both in the state and at the Federation. She is a member currently of the Board of Governors, National Judicial Institute. She's also a member Dispute Resolution Committee. Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu started really humbly, achieving gradually, and she achieved so much with a firm resolution, dedication, and rose to achieve a great feat in her career. She received immense awards that are well-deserved, ranging from Member, Order of the Federation of Republic of Nigeria, OFR. She received various certificates of merits, well-deserved from various institutions. She's also a peace ambassador. Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu received merit awards from various forums, youth forums, and a lot of organizations. A few of them include Zamfara State Student Association, Usman Danfodio University Chapter. She also received Merit Award for Peace and Equity, awarded by NTA Gusau. She also received Merit Awards by various religious organizations and associations. She received a lot of nominations for various awards and also attended various judicial workshops and seminars within and outside the country. Honorable Justice Kolo Aliyu is a kind person. Her personality is something to emulate from. She is very humble and down to earth. Would like to thank Honorable Justice Kulu Aliyu for her immense service, which can never be repaid to this state and the whole of the Federation.
Please, round of applause. Thank you very much, Barisa Shawanatu. Ba a gayyato shi ba yi. Kasawa ya bunga yadda an kasara. Thank you very much.
Science, where I obtained my IJMB certificate. From there, I proceeded to Ahmadu Bello University. In 1981, and I graduated in 1984. Went to Nigerian Law School, Lagos, and was called to the bar in August 1985. I started as a state counsel, former Sokoto State, where I served the former Ministry of Justice, Sokoto State, for just 1 year, before I transferred my services to the judiciary, where I was appointed as a magistrate of the second grade. I rose through the rank, and when Zamfara State was created in 1996, I was redeployed to Zamfara State as Chief Magistrate 1. I was appointed a High Court judge in May 1998. 2004, by the grace of God, I became the Chief Judge of the state. So thank you.
Musa Usman Abubakar, the Secretary of the ICPC, who is unavoidably absent. On his behalf by Umar Abdul Nasir. His Worship Umar Abdul Nasir should please come forward to receive the award on his behalf. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the first to get to the rank in Zamfara State. One of our own, Barrister Abdulaziz Sani. Thank you very much, sir.
Posthumous.
You must all know that this year we lost one of our own, Barrister Ben Adha. The Nigerian Bar Association Gusau branch deemed it necessary to also give a posthumous award to Barrister Ben Adha. Barrister Julius Attorney will receive on his behalf. You may please come forward.
We come to the end of our law week. Today, the last event is the law dinner. And today we dine and rejoice with ourselves. We have awarded awards to some legal luminaries of Zamfara State, one of which is the Honorable Justice Lawal Mohammed Lawal Garba, the Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. In fact, he is the first and the only Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria we have who hailed from Zamfara State. The second award went to the Chief Judge of Zamfara State, Honorable Justice Kulu Aliyu OFR, for her dedication to service. She served the Zamfara State government. And the third award went to Professor Musa Usman Abubakar, a professor of law and the current Secretary of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. He is the only professor in law we have in Zamfara State. And the fourth award went to Muhammad Sani Abdulaziz, the first and the only senior advocate from Zamfara State. We awarded them with this award of excellence. We also choose among ourselves the most senior active member of the bar, the most active female member of the bar, and the most active young lawyer who a member of our branch. That of the most senior active member went to Barrister A.A. Jibrin, and the female active member, Barrister Sha'awana to Muhammad Ahmad. And lastly but not the least, Kamaluddin Muhammad received the most active young lawyer of this branch. We also awarded a posthumous award to one of our members who lost his life recently. He is Barrister Benedict Tonji Aza. May his soul rest in peace. These are the awards we awarded this evening. So we thank everybody, we thank the judiciary, we thank the executive, and we thank the legislator. Our friends who are friends of the bar, from the businessmen, the politicians, and other people who assisted us, contributed and supported us, we thank them immensely. We are grateful to all those who came and dined with us today, and those who also were not able to be here today but they participated in other activities. We are grateful to them. We are grateful to our families for bearing with us throughout this work. We had been very much busy. Sometimes we went back home late hours and came out very early. We appreciate them for their patience, for supporting us to achieve our aims. We thank God. May God Almighty help us and continue with all these laudable activities we have been making. Thank you very much.